Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. It's time for your weekend preview. This week, I've got with me the main man, Corey Kemp from the West Ham Way. Please smash a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're on that road to 2K. Please make it happen. And yeah, enjoy the video. Now then, people, welcome to the Just Joe Football Show. I've got a familiar face with me today. Corey from the West Ham Way is part of the furniture at All Leeds TV now. And a boss lad. So I thought I would get him on and we would do the weekend's predictions, as is always the case on Friday on the Just Your Football Show. Corey, how are you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, sweet, mate. Stressful, packing up, ready to go home. Yeah. But yeah, looking forward to talking about football, mate. It's been a mad old week, isn't it?
Just about recovered from the ESL BS.
Yeah, oh God, it does my head in. Like, I think it overkill, innit? Like, I was glued to Sky Sports for 72 hours, and then when it finally ended, I needed a good day to recover. I couldn't even. Like, I think there was a game on Wednesday. I was like, I just can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. It was so stressful.
I was the same, mate. I was, because I do the watch-alongs on the channel, and I looked and I seen Leicester, West Brom, and I thought, nah, I can't be bothered. And then Leicester dipped them 3-0, so it wouldn't have been a mad one to do. But what was your just we'll leave it alone after this. But what was your what was your favourite thing from it? What was like your key thing?
It was good to see different fan bases agreeing that it was wrong. Now, what we've seen since then is a lot of fan bases and a lot of the media going, well, they didn't mean it. Don't blame the fans, which I'm sure we'll talk about before the whistle blows and everything. Yeah. But it just irks me. Every other club, including West Ham, when we signed Tevez and Mascherano, got done 25 mil. We're nearly in administration. We just about got away with it. I didn't sign Tevez. I didn't sign Mascherano. It's not my fault. And the way that it's like, no, leave them alone. They didn't mean to do it. Of course they meant to do it. 167-page document. Roman didn't see it. Of course he did. Don't give me all that. So, but what I like about it actually is I think English fans now are looking at ownerships and realising the amount of fan power that we have. Now, as a West Ham fan, I know that because we did protests and we've been able to try and push the ball into certain positions. Arsenal got a protest tonight, obviously with the Glazers, with Man United. It's good to see. I think we need to get rid of these people out of football because they're toxic, mate. And it will come round again. It'll be on a cycle. 2 years' time, they'll pull the same stunt. So, everyone's woke now.
The woke nation. The woke nation in football. But no, I agree, mate. I even found myself hashtagging Glazer out, Kroenke out, FSG out, just wanting to, because we don't need them people. And I think, like you, there has to be sanctions. There has to be a points deduction. I think a fine's not enough because these clubs are already wealthy, as we've already seen. It won't hardly touch them. Whereas if you give them a points deduction, either this season or next, then it's gonna hurt them. But I don't think they will. And like you said, you've got these top pundits saying it's not fair. But we did a thread on All Leeds TV just showing the amount of clubs that have had points deductions, etc. I mean, my own club, Leeds United, getting, -10 in the Championship, -15 in League One, and having to start the season 15 points behind everyone. It weren't our fault. We didn't put the club into administration. I agree with you on that. I think my favourite thing, though, was just the absolute senile dementia nature of Florentino Perez. Some of the stuff that he was coming out with when he was saying there was 40 Chelsea fans and he could name who put them there and that. And I was like, what is this guy going on about?
He was having a pop at Fogdad,
change
as well.
Times. Yeah, Thogden and Thogdad. It was brilliant.
Bring it on.
Good crack. Yeah, it was. Right, let's leave the ESL there. Let's get into some football, mate. So Friday night football, 8 p.m, Arsenal versus Everton. This is a big one for you, I guess. Everton, is it top four? Maybe not so. Maybe not so. But how do you see this one?
They're like that annoying team that just hangs around Everton with a game in hand for the season. And every time they're like, well, Everton have got a game in hand. Yeah, but they've been so horribly inconsistent. Like every time I watch them, I don't really know what I'm watching. Like, and listen, Carlo is a world-class manager. And I'm sure he's trying to figure out the right team and the right side. Everton are a side ultimately in transition, and I'm sure they'll get a couple out the door in the summer, a couple in, and they'll settle things down a little bit. And I think probably for Everton fans, it's a bit of a sort of dodgy learning period where it's going to take 2 years before you get to where you think that you should be. Arsenal, on the other hand, no idea where they're going with the process and Mikel Arteta. again, they draw 1-1 to Fulham and they're celebrating like it's an FA Cup final win, and they've actually won the FA Cup final before West Ham and Leeds. So it's crazy. I mean, Arteta, to be fair, I think he needs to go all out in the Europa League, and I'm not sure when the fixtures are for that. But that's more important. For me, in the league, they're done in the league, mate. They're done in the league. It's all over. So even if they slip to 12, does it matter between 12th and 9th? No. Really, realistically speaking, no. So
so give me a score prediction for this one, brother.
Let's go 1-0. Horrible, boring Friday night game.
Yeah. So I was on the side of that as well. I think I'm going to go 2-2 though. I think. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-2, but I agree with you. I think Everton started off flying out the traps. You know, James Rodriguez was unbelievable for a period of time, but obviously the Premier League, after a while, it takes some time to adjust. And I would see it as a disappointing season if Leeds United finished below Arsenal. They're that poor. It's a team I look at and think, look, if we don't get in Europe, if we don't get in top 7, I just want to finish ahead of them because they're apparently, you know, a super elite club, but shows where they're at. But yeah, both going for draws there. Liverpool, Newcastle, mate. For me, I've said for a while now, the bottom 3 stays as it is. Do you think Newcastle are safe now after their win last week that I predicted?
It's so West Ham in it to lose to Newcastle. It had.
Yeah,
do you know what the worst thing about
that's football, though, bro. That's football, man.
You know when you get that feeling. And it's kind of this sort of shadow. And I knew it was coming. And I just was like, nah, we're too good. They're too bad, blah, blah. And it happened at the right time. And listen, I don't think Newcastle fans are still happy with Steve Bruce, and quite rightly. No. But they turned up, mate. I've done it in the breakdown of that performance. They had a game plan. It was perfect to deal with West Ham. We struggled, made mistakes. And I think they're more than fine. Again, Alan said Maximan in the side, who's a beautiful player. What a player. I mean, I don't know if he stays there. If someone comes in?
I think with him, though, Corey, I think his end product's not there. He's great with the ball at his feet. It reminds me so much of Adama Traore. Even the shot that Diop scored the young goal, that was poor. The shot itself was pretty poor.
It is, but you have to look at St. Maximan as, again, he's in a Newcastle side that is really poor. He hasn't really got players in and around him. No. He could do with almost like a mid-table, like say a West Ham, where we just need someone to get on the ball and carry it, and we get runners off him in Lingard, Antonio. That's where he fits in. Does he get into the super top 6 elite? No. Probably not because of the end product, but he's still relatively young. It will take time. But I'm sure he'll get there.
There are a lot of Leeds fans that would have him as well, and I'm like, it's the end product thing. But I get what you're saying in that respect. Just carrying the ball is enough sometimes to get you out of tight areas, in it. Especially Liverpool, mate, obviously dropping points at Ellen Road. You know, last minute Llorente header. Do you think their top 4 hopes are done?
I wouldn't say they're done just because of how tight it is. I wrote them off. And they just look tired. Like they just look really knackered. And I don't know whether it's caught up with them, whether it's mentally as well. Last season, again, that concentration that they needed, and they didn't let up even when they were 20 points, 25 points clear. So again, I thought, listen, Leeds come onto them second half and just look the stronger side. But don't write off Liverpool. They've got as similar favourable fixtures as West Ham do. So it's with, and like I say, at the minute, people have to look at this top 4 race game by game. Don't look at it in terms of the next 5, because if West Ham go and win the next 3, which is conceivable that we could go and do that, all of a sudden we're there. And if someone drops points, we're the clear favourites. Could it happen to Liverpool? So don't write them off. They've got too much quality, but they have shown this season.
And so with this game, mate, I'm going Liverpool 2-0 win. What say you?
Is it Liverpool at home or away?
Yeah.
Home,
yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1. So we've both gone for a draw in the first one. We're both going for Liverpool in this one. This will be an interesting one. Massive top 4 clash. Obviously, if Liverpool win as well, it'll put the pressure on you too. West Ham versus Chelsea, mate. I'll give my thoughts just briefly. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game, I think, personally. Chelsea are pretty boring to watch, for me anyway. Tuchel's gone in and they passed teams to death, but they lack that killer instinct for me. They lack that killer instinct. And it's crazy to think the money that they've spent, and you look at the squad and you think they actually need a number 9. Do you know what I mean? They need, but they've got Tammy, they've got Giroud. He doesn't fancy Tammy. I'd take Tammy at Leeds all day long. Giroud, whoever has Giroud, for some reason, they fail to play him as much as he should. I think he's so underrated. I think he's unbelievable footballer. But yeah, I think this one's going to be tight. I could easily see a 0-0. What? Give me your thoughts. Mate.
No, I agree, mate. I've gone for a draw in my score prediction as well. It's an interesting one because apparently Moyes is going to play Ben Rama, which means that he's going to play a back four, which he hasn't played since Antonio's been out the side, which is essentially a 5-man midfield. Now, that's quite ambitious against Chelsea, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. Those attacking midfielders have got to work so hard, but it is possible. And Brighton showed us a little bit of a blueprint. When you put pressure on them in their own third, sometimes they can panic. And again, I think West Ham probably have the more clinical players in there. We're used to just taking one chance and going. Lingard, Bowen. There are opportunities, but Chelsea control games. They dominate games. Like they're so well drilled that I just worry, are West Ham going to get that ball enough to do enough? So I've gone with 1-0. I think we'll get something. I think Lingard will pop up with a moment of magic, but I think Chelsea might break us down towards the end of the game.
That's the thing. Chelsea aren't going to score a load, are they? They did against Palace, but I think the majority of the games have been 2-0, 2-1, 0-0. But I'm going to go 0-0. I'm going to go for a pretty drab, boring 0-0, mate, to be honest. Next tie, Sheffield United, Brighton. Sheffield United confirmed, relegated, gone, in the bin. Brighton.
Never mind.
I know, yeah, it's gone. They've gone. They've been gone. Yeah, they've been gone for a while now. Do you know what I mean? But how do you see this one going, mate?
Sorry, mate. I'm too busy thinking about how was it Sheffield United,
Brighton.
Oh, it's a dead horrible game that. I think. Yeah, like we touched, I think Brighton are safe anyway. Yeah. If I'm honest, they're a weird old team. They play some really good stuff, but they just don't have the finishers. And I don't get into the XG, but I think they'd be top half if they had some decent finishers in there.
Top 4, I think, mate. Top 4.
But league apparently. So
yeah, exactly.
It's so good, and yet we've not actually seen it. Sheffield United are
rubbish.
I mean, I don't want to be horrible, but they are a bit of a championship side. Like they are a bit, and you realise how big a job someone like Chris Wilder did. And I really like Chris Wilder because I just think he galvanised that whole team to perform well above where they should have been. I think concern for them, I think they're good for the Premier League. I would like to see them come back up because I think their fan base is good, they're passionate. That's exactly what the type of clubs you want in the league. Yeah. But it all depends on who they get in, mate. It really does. It's a big task. And those owners have really got to back them. In terms of the score prediction, it's slightly off topic. I'm just going to go 2-0 Brighton. Maybe they'll turn up. It is only Sheffield United, so surely they'll score some goals.
Me, 2-0 Brighton as me. That was my prediction. Another boring game, mate, to be honest. We've got Wolves, Burnley. Don't really want it. I'll tell you what, I'll ask you this. I wasn't going to do this to a death. Could Nuno Espirito Santo get this Spurs job?
He could. I think a lot of it depends on... I don't think that's the right move for Tottenham, because of the football that people didn't like under Jose Mourinho. It's going to be very similar to Nuno. And I think Wolves fans give him a lot of time because of what he's done for them, and he's brought them up from the Championship, and they've done... will he get the same time with Tottenham? But Tottenham, with all due respect, they're not going to get Nagelsmann. He's going blind. They're not going to get Brendan Rodgers. Leicester are flying. So there is a bit of it's a tough ask for anyone to come in or to get a certain person. And you look at Tottenham. I know Mourinho did a bad job, but they need a lot of money in terms of a rebuild. It's not just him; it was a lot to do with that defence. So again, if you're going to bring whoever you bring in, back him, give him the money that he deserves. And unfortunately, whoever that is, they might not have Harry Kane. So it's a tough old job.
Quick score prediction then on Wolves Burnley. I'm going to go 1-0 Wolves.
Yep, agree. 1-0 Wolves.
Nice. Next one, biggest game of the weekend for me. Biggest, obviously I get you West Ham Chelsea, but for Leeds United, this is a massive fixture against our old rivals. Obviously, we owe them one as well after being humbled 6-2 at Old Trafford, which stung. Give me your thoughts on this one, mate. How do you see it going?
I wonder whether Leeds have sort of learnt from their mistakes. I think I was interested. I watched you on the watch along, and I was watching the game at the same time for the Leeds game. And why are we going forward? Because you're so used to this heavy metal, just throw men forward. But I thought what Marcelo was trying to do is play around the back long enough, beat the press, and then go, and then find that space. And I wonder whether he'll do the same against Man United, where he invites them onto him, and he goes, right, then let's go, let's throw men forward. And that could undo Man United, because Man United are going to go there. They're going to try and have a lot of the ball. They're going to, if they've got Pogba in there, they're going to want to get him on the ball a lot. And I think if Leeds just settle down a little bit, take their time like they did against Liverpool, you'll get something from the game. But I think you touched on it. Ellen Rowe's a bit of a fortress at the minute, so it's not. It's a real tough game, and it's a bit odd as well, because I know it's like a rivalry, but Leeds again maybe slip into 8th. That's kind of the target. Man United confirmed 2nd. There's not too much line on it, but both teams are going to be well up for it. So I've got a keen eye on that one.
Give me a score prediction, mate.
I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, we've made slight tweaks. We will know whatever happens, even if we lose the game, it'll nowhere near be by the margin that it was in that first time. We've kept them the least goals since the turn of the year, clean sheets wise. We're on a great run of form. I think obviously we're undefeated in 5 now, having played Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City within that run. And the fact that we haven't been beat says all you need to know. And obviously Manchester United are unbeaten away from home. I think it's 13 games now. So it's going to be a tough task. But, I always back my boys, and I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 Leeds United. Paddy Bamford winner. Next one, mate, we've got Villa versus West Brom. This is a Black Country derby, right?
Boring game, that's for sure. Whatever it is.
It's a derby, right?
Yeah, no, it's Midlands derby. They're all, I kind of don't really get it. Aston Villa, Leicester. I'm sure these Midlands fans, what are you talking about? It's huge. I'll just admit, all right, whatever.
But Villa easily win this, do you think? Boring, but win it, or
depends on
Grealish, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, West Brom are down, aren't they? That's the sad thing. And I thought they played really well in their last 2 games, to be honest.
Yeah.
So they just got battered by a really, really good Leicester side. I think Villa look off it without Grealish. I think they're paying a little bit for relying on him too heavily. And their squad hasn't really learned how to play without him, which I think Dean Smith needs to sort out.
Yeah.
Probably say that Villa win it. So I want to say like a 2-0, possibly, just because of the mood of the game. But it's not going to be interesting. They're a weird old side, Aston Villa, because they were up there for quite a while and people were saying might get Europe, but it's a bit too far for me.
Maybe, I mean, if Grealish should have stayed fit, maybe they would have. It just shows they are a bit of a one-man team and are over-reliant on Jack Grealish. But I think they'll have too much for West Brom. I think, like you said, West Brom had 2 fantastic results, and they had to keep on winning, or at least not lose. And for them to get beat 3-0, you just think, it's a bridge too far now. The manner as well, though. The goals. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're not. Someone said on Twitter they just looked like a relegated side from the minute go, and I think that's a fair statement.
Definitely, but I do agree with you. I think I fancy West Brom to score, though, just with it being a derby. I'll go 2-1 Villa. Last game of the weekend in the Premier League, mate, is Leicester versus Crystal Palace. Leicester started to falter a little bit, and then on Wednesday they got a fantastic result against West Brom, winning 3-0, cemented themselves again in that top 4, you'd imagine. Look, for me, Crystal Palace, they're on the beach, they're waiting for Roy to go, they've got loads of players out of contract in the summer. I just think, they're just going to continue getting beat, I think, personally, and I'm going to go for another 3-0 win here for Leicester.
I'm going to go 3-1. I think Zaha might pop up with something. But you are bang on about Palace are a weird old team. It's like they're there, but they're kind of not. And you're a bit like, what are you actually doing? Like, where exactly, you're going to go down or you're going to go up?
Yeah.
Whereas Leicester,
it must be so boring, right?
Well, I feel from a bit but then you can't overestimate the price of staying in the league or the job that Roy Hodgson has done, because Crystal Palace aren't the biggest club, and I know they've got some decent assets, but it's a big summer for them. I think if Eddie Howe comes in, which I guess is probably the guy that they're waiting for, they've got to go and spend a fair amount of money to compete. And they could be done, mate. They could be relegation contenders if that doesn't work out.
No, it's definite shout, because they tried it, didn't they, with De Boer, didn't they? And they tried a different style. And
so funny. Do you remember? That was like 8 games and they lost all of them and they went, we're not going to buy into this style. I was like, fair enough.
But that's the Premier League. That's quite a surprise, Corey. We've agreed on every fixture, not scoreline, but in terms of the way the fixtures have gone. So I think that's the first time it happened. Final game, mate, is the Carabao Cup final. Tottenham versus Manchester City. Manchester City, you could argue, have faltered a little bit of late. Obviously, since the mighty Whites, Leeds United, put them to the sword.
In their head,
he had. Do you think the thing I think about this tie? If anyone was going to beat City, it was Jose. I just can't see Ryan Mason. No disrespect to the lad. I mean, Harry Kane apparently is trained this week, which is a massive boost for them. But I just can't see past City the fact that, you know, you've got young Ryan Mason there in charge. What do you think?
It's a weird old decision, isn't it? I mean, I think it was
that Jamie Redknapp thing was brilliant, weren't it?
Yeah, it was quite funny, to be honest. Yeah. You just keep him, don't you? It doesn't really. I think they were, wasn't it? If he finishes 7th, right, they had the payouts a lot less or something, which is leave you all over.
I think it was X amount in the top 4, X amount in Europe, and then 7th. Now they've obviously looked at it and thought, if he wins a cup final, we're not going to be able to sack him, or we're going to have to pay him more. And they had Southampton. Now, even Mourinho in charge possibly might have got a result against Southampton, which then would have meant they'd have then moved up into the top 6 again, like they are now, I think. Where are they now? They're 6th. And then that would have meant more sacking him. So then maybe, obviously, Levy's looked at it and gone, cup final, what if he wins that? We've got Southampton. They should beat South. So he's just thought, I'm getting shot now, so I only have to pay him 5 million. And he's probably thinking, ESL, I'll get a new world elite manager in.
Well, that's what I thought that was what it was about. I thought because he was getting that money, that's why he sacked him. And you've got to admit, at the time, it looked really suspicious sacking him. And then obviously,
Elena wasn't having it, was she?
No, I tried to tell her, but she wasn't interested. I also said Tottenham should be punished, and she laughed. So I mean, we'll talk about it tonight. Funny, Harry Kane hasn't come out and said anything. I mean, he's supposed to be England captain, but he didn't say a word. Interesting. That whole squad is interesting. They haven't said a word, so we'll find out. On the thing with Levy, where I sympathise a little bit, or at least empathise with Tottenham fans, is he's not spending enough money. He's not doing enough. He had a miracle. He didn't have a miracle. They had a policy. They brought in young players. One of them was Gareth Bale. They got a load of money, and then they got some sort of squad together. And even though it half failed, half of it was decent. Pochettino, up and coming manager, probably a world class manager. The meeting of the two meant that Tottenham could compete at that level. They won't get any further unless they go and reinvest again. That's the whole point. It's like when West Ham spent 100 million, we was already 3-4 years behind everyone else in investment. So it's all right going, we spent that money, but you have to go again. You can't ever stop. So I think they've got it closer to home.
What always scratches my head is like, you got to a Champions League final. Like, not many clubs ever do that. I mean, we got to a semi-final and we still dine out on that now, you know. These big clubs, they're used to that stuff, you know. I'm not saying we're a big club, but I mean, not saying we're not a big club, but, you know, these ones that are in it all the time, i.e. your Manchester Uniteds, your Liverpools, it's normal to them. But for Tottenham, they'll never get there again, bro. They're not going to be experiencing no Champions League final again.
But that's the thing. Like with West Ham this season, and it's not really the same thing. But if we finish top 4, it isn't about long-term top 4. That's really difficult. It's about taking that, like Leicester did with their Premier League win, and building. That's where Tottenham went wrong, because they didn't give Poch what he asked for, and he created a miracle, and they said, "Nah, we're not interested." And when it fell apart, they blamed him, which is crazy. So
absolutely mental, mate. Mental. Right, how do we see it going then? Obviously, City were on for the quadruple. You know, the FA Cup gone after getting beat by Chelsea. Do they get the first trophy in the cabinet this Sunday?
I really hope so. I think I don't think I could do Tottenham winning that Carabao. Honestly, they haven't stopped going on about it. I think City probably win 2-1. Although John Stones is having a few shockers at the minute. I don't know what's going through his head. He's such a strange person in a way that...
Well, he got a red though, right? Will he be out of the tie, or doesn't it count for cup competition?
I think he's in the cup. He's just not in the Premier League for the next 3.
Yeah, I think he gets dropped anyway, though. I think he might go with Laporte and Diaz.
Yeah, possibly. A bit concerning as an England fan going into a tournament where Stones has all of a sudden just decided to
dropped off a cliff.
He doesn't, but he's so like, I don't know whether he needs almost like a psychologist, because he does these strange, he makes these strange decisions, and I'm like, why would you do that? And then when he was just decisive, and Diaz was pulling him around and saying, "Do that." He was brilliant. He was basically untouchable. So maybe that's where Harry Kane slips in and gets a goal, his statutory goal. But for me, Man City are too strong. And if it gets to the latter stages of the game, I fancy Pep over Ryan Mason, to be fair.
100%. I reckon Foden to run the show again. The guy's a little. He's just.
Wouldn't it be funny if Spurs got battered like 4-0?
I don't know. I just think it's a fairy tale too far for Ryan Mason to win a trophy.
If he won it, actually, I would give him a lot. I would be like, fair play, mate, because that is some accolade to do.
Youngest Premier League manager ever, second game.
And it's sad how he sort of his career ended as well. So it'd be great for him.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm going to go with you, mate. I think 2-1 as well. But that's it, mate. That's the weekend's games boxed off. Everyone who watches this, or the majority, will already know who you are, Corey. But let the folks know where you are, what you're from, what you're doing this weekend.
West Ham Way YouTube channel. I'm on Twitter as well, CoreyKemp_. I'm not doing a watch along this weekend, so no one will be able to see me with my head in my hands, unfortunately. But I've got post-match stuff, so if you want to come and have a laugh at me, or you want to see me celebrate, then come along tomorrow evening, and I'm sure I'll be there and thereabouts. Well,
I hope you're celebrating, mate, because I'm not a big fan of Chelsea. I was the other day when the Brom win all the ESL, but now it's like, not anymore. It's done with now. So I'm all West Ham at the weekend. I hope West Ham get the top 4. So good luck with that, brother. And thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the not on the stream, on the video. Share, subscribe, all that jazz. We're on that road to 2K now. That's next in the sights. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Corey.
No worries, man. Take care. See you tonight.
Yeah. See you tonight, man.